So, this is my new build, the Electric Vampire Knight. It's pretty awesome. Just enjoy this little beginning part where I totally destroy this guy without getting hurt once. Not a single time do I get hurt. I do destroy him though. This is the the high level elite hunter guy in the marsh. But if you'll notice, even though I made this build, it kind of sucks. Look how much damage I took. Look how much, yeah, I dealt like a moderate amount of damage, but there's a problem. It's kind of a weird problem. Well, let's look into it. So, first of all, there's two modes. There's mage mode and knight mode. Currently, you're looking at mage mode. If you'll look, this is the superpower mode, so when I have all my active buffs that I need, and these are the stats for superpower mode. It's pretty decent. In fact, you'll notice that my armor composition competes with that of the blue sand set. I'm using the runic protection, and I have the prefix on, so it includes better stats for that. If you look at the blue sand armor, you'll notice that it's almost the exact same, but the blue sand armor actually has more negative impact than my other armor does. So I prefer to use the green copal set and the silver boots. It has comparable stats, but it does not affect your movement speed. I also, whenever I'm using mage mode, I'll switch between the Tenebris helm or the blue mage cap. So this is kind of the issue. This combat doesn't work because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be a close combat fighter while also being a mage. And it's kind of unfortunate that mage has so many close combat spells. It really doesn't work well. So I decided to rework my build. And what I did was, instead of having the ground circles, instead of using the circles, I just kind of varianted off of the Highlander. And I went into the Blue Chamber quest so that I could get the infused blood. These are the stats after the end game. And as you can see, I am using the same armor set. And this is my base. I'll use the Discipline boon, which increases my stats, as well as the Runic protection, further increasing my stats. And then I'll use most of my boons. This is our standard walking around build. You're not using any potions. This is just kind of what you're going to be having when you're just wandering around. That way you're not, caught by surprise. You're not taking as much damage if you're running past enemies. As you can see, I'm using all of the counters. I also have Feral Strikes and the Predator Leap, and then Infused Blood. And this is the combat with the Light Warden, the Light Lich. Really not a good matchup, honestly, for my build. My build is very physical, and he's more of like a spirit monster, which means he has more resistances to physical damage. Since I have the infused blood on, it does increase the decay damage on him, but it's not a lot. So this combat's a little rough, but I believe that the Highlander, which is kind of actually what this is a variant on, is capable of handling any monster. If you'll notice, even though I take massive amounts of damage from this boss, I'm gaining all of it back just by attacking. Like, look at that. That health just goes right back up. And that's kind of the core concept of this build. And unfortunately, infused blood is actually a little bit of a necessary boon, a necessary spell that you need to get in order to get that level of lifesteal. Unfortunately, but it's pretty cool seeing your health go up like that whenever you're in combat. But it still feels so weird. Like, I feel like, you know, my character is taking so much damage and it's almost insane, but I don't know, I just get it back. I guess it doesn't matter. I make pretty short work of the Light Lich and that's done. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. What this build started out as was a way that I could cosplay or roleplay as a vampire by using the Blood Sigil. And then I was like, well, the Blood Sigil uses the Mana Push and Spark. And so what else uses Mana Push and Spark? Well, I wanted to incorporate as efficient button clicks as possible. And that's why in the beginning of this video, you see me running the Wind Sigil, because Mana Push and Spark are both essential to both of those sigils. But it's such a big problem because it's such a physical build. You're standing right next to your enemy, and if you're just sitting there casting a sigil, or if you're sitting there casting your close combat spells, yeah, you're doing massive damage, but you're also going to be taking massive damage. And that's not ideal. Even with the better armor and with the runic protection, you are still, like, you're going to be casting spells at a higher cost, which is annoying, but you're also still going to be taking a ton of damage and you're not getting any life back, which is kind of why I switched over to just doing the Highlander build, which has high protection against all of the different elements. And instead of using a generic greatsword, I'm using the vampiric greatsword just to get some of that health back. And this way you can kind of just rage against your opponent. You don't really even have to stop. You can just keep swinging and they can't really stop you. It's a little bit of a sad situation, because I really believed that the initial build for this was going to be awesome, but it was a failure and it didn't work, and it was unfortunate, but it did turn into something great, which is cool.